go on to the next one, which I believe is the Rifter. Yep, next one is the Rifter.
Oh yes, this guy. This guy is fairly standard. A standard for me, at least. You don't see too many Rifters around anymore because they don't have the same punch as they used to. But I prefer a buffer over an active tank on this Rifter, and some people prefer an active tank. It all depends on your style of play. But this guy almost flies exactly like that Merlin that we just saw, except for it doesn't have the resist bonus, and because it's using autocannons, it doesn't quite do as much damage. So overall, the Rifter has less EHP and less damage than your Merlin, but it's not cap dependent for its weapons. It's a bit faster than most of the standard ships. Like, this guy could kite the Merlin if it needed to. And that's another reason that this is useful, is you can switch out your ammo as you know what's coming. So if I saw a Merlin coming and I was in this Rifter, I would switch out to barrage ammo, and I wouldn't let him get close to me at all. I would stay as far away from him as I could and keep him scrambled and webbed. So I would be able to apply my damage to him, because he will be able to apply almost no damage to me at that range. But you can still apply it to him. So it'll be a very long fight, because as far as stats go, he should win. But because he can't get close enough to apply his damage, you'll just slowly pick him away until he dies.
Now, how would you suggest going about using him in an actual combat situation? So, you know, for example, sitting in the Plex or assaulting a Plex. What would you recommend?
That's another reason that I prefer the Rifter over the Merlin in some occasions. It's much better for assaulting the Plex because it has that extra range that reaches out to. So if you're coming into a Plex, you would usually just immediately start burning towards the target, because they're either running away, or if they're trying to get close to you, they're going to be a brawler fit, so you'll want to try to pull away from them. Where the Rifter shines is you stay where the enemy can't hit you, but you can still hit them. And that's what it's good at. As far as defensive plexing, it's the same idea. As they come in, you should know what their ship is, and you should know about what you want to do and proceed to do it. If you want to stay away, when he comes in, you're going to probably want to start going the opposite, or flying the direction where they're coming from. So their ship momentum's taking them away from you, but they're going to try to kill you if they're in a Merlin. So they're going to have to turn around and fight the momentum to come back after you as you're gaining speed and starting your orbiting process to hit them from a distance. Or if they're coming in with a pulse laser boat, up close and personal, those lasers aren't going to be able to do much. So you're going to want to approach them as they come in so you can hit them up close and personal. And they can't do much because you're under their tracking window.
Now, why did you decide to not go with an active tank, either with a repper or with resistance amplifiers?
I usually end up fighting more than one person at a time when I'm fighting against the Galente military, which we are. And an active tank usually doesn't do much for you because it takes time for that hit points to come into effect. Where this, you start off and you already have the hit points. Now, there is occasions where I would have been able to win a battle if I had an active fit, but there's been many other times where I've been able to stay in a fight long enough for a buddy to come and help me, or I've been able to kill the enemy because they came in expecting me to be active tank and they muted out my cap, but I'm still doing damage with my guns, but I'm not reliant upon that cap to keep me alive. So it kind of works in both ways. I prefer the concept of not having to worry about my guns running out of cap or my armor rep running out of cap. I just show up to the fight, and no matter what happens, I can keep going. So the short answer is the active tank is, it gives you less overall hit points, but if you're in a fight for long enough, you'll regain your hit points. But I'm usually not in fights long enough because I'm usually not fighting one-on-one with somebody unless it's a very, very quick bout. And in that scenario, only 1 in 3 times has it been more useful for me to have an armor, repair, in my opinion, over a plate.
All right, let's move on